Hey everyone, welcome back to RPG Elite. This is the place where we put the RP back into RPG. We give you tools, we give you tips, we give you tutorials, and real talk about the tabletop RPG culture and space. And why do we do all of this? Because we want your tabletop RPG experience to be more immersive and enjoyable. Today, you have ventured onto my longest video ever on this channel. Yes, I'm living dangerously and trying your patience. This is one of those you may want to click the watch later button or just watch a little bit now, watch the rest later, whenever you need to. But I didn't plan on making this the longest video, just ended up that way. Sometimes those things happen. Normally I would break this up into smaller videos, smaller chunks, but I decided, in light of me wanting just to finish this series, I'm just gonna put it all out there today. So let's get started. And as I've said in the past, I consider this a tabletop RPG educational channel. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email or put it down in the comments below. Either way, it's cool. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. Classic Tabletop RPG Friday, Gamma World, 2nd edition, Combat Part 2. And I'll see you on the other side. There are 6 things in general that can be done in a combat round, and only one of these can be done per round. A character can move their full movement allotment. An optional rule is to allow a percentage of movement, like up to half or a quarter movement, and allow another combat action. Now, this rule works best if you actually have a battle map or a virtual tabletop where keeping track of positioning makes things easier on the battlefield. This includes throwing, firing, or swinging a weapon. It also includes clawing, biting, kicking, and punching. As mentioned in the last video, reloading or switching weapons take up a combat action, as well as changing the battery in a piece of equipment that has a certain energy supply or charges. Using a conscious physical or mental mutation is considered a combat action. Again, unconscious actions are considered passive automatic actions, and you could still perform an active action with it, like use a weapon or use a conscious mutation. If a character has an artifact that can be used against another character or is a bit of work to activate, they can take the combat round to do it. Now, GM discretion is used here, which means that the GM will judge whether or not it will take an action to use a particular artifact. This is on a case-by-case basis. Well, this includes things like breaking down doors, searching the ground real quick for an item, resting, getting up off of the ground after you've been put on your behind, and other actions that are not covered by the first 5, but clearly would take a combat action to complete. The major mechanic addition when it comes to combat in 2nd edition is vehicle combat. So we're going to take a look at this and how this would possibly play out in a campaign scenario. All right, so here we are in Foundry, and we have center stage 2 PCs. One whose name is Zeelan Maylock, and the other is Miribaldo Kentac. Now, Zeelan you met in the Gamma World 2nd edition character creation, as well as at the beginning of the Artifacts 2nd edition video. At the time, he didn't have a name. He was just called Tom's Humanoid in that character creation video, but we gave him a name. Now you met Miribaldo
in the Gamma World First Edition character creation, as well as in my last combat video for First Edition. Here's the situation. Zeelan and Miribaldo, they've run into a little bit of a problem. See, they have this pickup truck, and we're going to call this pickup truck Old Bessie. And Old Bessie, well, she is a little loud. Her catalytic converter is shot, and the muffler is broken. So its noise has drawn the attention of a couple of patrolling slugs from the Iron Society Cryptic Alliance. Now, if you haven't seen my Cryptic Alliance videos, I got a couple of those as well, so go ahead. All of these things are in links in the description below. Now, Zeelan has a mutation of heightened vision, so he saw him coming, and he told Miribaldo. Now, Miribaldo is in the driver's seat. He's on top of the pickup truck here, but that's because I can't put him inside. But he's inside, and he's driving. And they've got another problem. You see, this is an old pickup truck, and at the moment, they don't have all the parts and everything for it, so it only tops out at about 50 miles an hour. And that's why these slugs were able to make it up to them fast before they made it to their settlement. So, this is how we're going to run this. We're going to go to the edge of the map, and if they get to the edge of the map, we're going to say that they get to the settlement when they have reinforcements, and the Iron Society slugs will then turn tail. But they have to get to the edge of the map. And let me pull back here so you can see how far they have to get. So, with those details out of the way, let's go into round 1. The first order of business, of course, is to roll initiative. It does it the same way as First Edition, so go watch that video if you don't know. But we're going to be rolling 1d6. Now, if anyone had a dexterity higher than 15, then every point higher than 15, they would get a modifier to this die roll, a +1 for every point higher. Now, we're not in that situation. Miribaldo only has a dexterity of 11. And so does Zeelan. So we're not dealing with that mechanic, but just to let you know, that's what you do. We're just going to roll for everyone here, and I'll just highlight who is going to be rolling at the moment. So let's go ahead and highlight the Iron Society rider here. We're just going to go around like in a clockwise pattern here. So 1d6 for the rider. All right, he gets a 4. Miribaldo gets a 3. Zeelan, he gets a 3. And the biker in the back gets a 1. So what we're going to do here is put everybody in the combat tracker, and we do that by just dragging a square around them, selecting everyone, right-clicking any one of these tokens, and hitting this shield and swords right here. And that puts everybody up here in the combat tracker. And there is the order in our first combat round. So, Mr. Iron Society Rider here is going to go first. I am going to be targeting who's on the chopping block by just choosing the targeting icon down here, and you'll see 4 arrows around whoever is about to get attacked. There'll be a square around the one who is attacking. Now, in this situation here, we have Miribaldo. He's actually in the cab again. And this slug has a hammer, which, by the way, happens to be the symbol of the Iron Society. So, apropos, right? Go figure. So he has this hammer that he's just going to try to smash Miribaldo with as he's driving this burner bike. That is going to be a little difficult. Why? 2 reasons. The first is that he's trying to drive this bike at the same time. That's number 1. So he's going to get a -1 to his to hit because of that. But the second reason is because Miribaldo is inside of the cab of the pickup truck. That means he's going to get the benefit of being undercover. And we covered that in the last combat video. So go ahead and take a look at that. So he'll get the advantage of a -3 for his attacker to hit. So all in all, this rider is going to have a -4 to his to hit. But that's not all. Miribaldo also has the option of choosing whether or not he's going to use the armor class of the pickup truck or his own armor class. Now in this situation, Miribaldo has an armor class of 5, and the pickup truck has an armor class of 4. If you remember, 1st and 2nd edition, the lower your armor class is, the better. So Miribaldo is going to take that 4 armor class because, every little bit counts. So what exactly does the rider need to hit Miribaldo? Well, if we look at his sheet, we see he has a hammer. His hammer has a weapon class of 1. So now we just got to go over to the physical attack table. Got to look at his weapon class of 1 versus Miribaldo's armor class of 4, and he needs a 15. Oh, wait a minute. Remember, got a -4, so actually, in order to hit, he's going to need a 19 or higher on a 20-sided die. So the chances of him hitting are slim and none, but you just never know. So let's see what happens. Yeah, you kind of knew that was going to happen, right? We kind of saw that coming. But it's a swing and a miss for the Iron Society slug. The next one is going to be Miribaldo. Now, Miribaldo is going to attack guy right next to him in the window, through the window, I should say. And he is going to use his dagger while he is trying to drive. So he's going to get that -1 to his to hit, but that's about it. So let's go over and take a look at what he needs to hit this slug. All right, so his dagger is a weapon class of 2. Slug has an armor class of 9, which means he needs a 9 to hit, or technically a 10, since he has a -1. So let's see how well Miribaldo does in this case. We might be able to see some action here. Dun, dun, dun. Not today. So Miribaldo misses, and we go on to the next one, who is Zeelan. Zeelan has a bow, and he is on his knee shooting at this rear biker here. And it's rocky here. He's, jumbling around in this dirt road. So he's going to get that -1 as well. But that's going to be it for him. So here is your target. And we're going to choose Zeelan because he's the one attacking. And we're going to see how well he does with his bow, which, by the way, is a weapon class of 9 versus his armor class of 9, which means needs a 9. All right, let's see what happens. Just couldn't do it. Rolled a 6. And so Zeelan is the one who is on the chopping block now, as the last one, this biker, has a hand sling. And he will roll a -1 as well because he is trying to use a hand sling at the same time that he's trying to guide this burner bike. And also, Zeelan is going to get partial advantage for being in the pickup truck. He's not going to get the full -3 because you'd have to be in the cab for that. And the pickup truck bed, that's open. But Zeelan is on one knee, so he's going to get part of it. So instead of a -3, we're going to give him a -1. So this biker in the back here, he's going to get a -2 to hit Zeelan. Let's see what happens. Well, that didn't work out too well either. So everybody is just kind of discombobulated here. You got arrows flying, rocks flying, hammers coming down, daggers doing the stabby stab, and everybody's just trying to get their bearings. And so we're going to move on to round 2. Okay, so here we are in round 2. They've moved further on down the road. Miribaldo's got the pedal to the metal here, and they have now come to a crossroads. Both of the Iron Society slugs are going to try to attack, even though the back one actually can't attack. He has to reload, as does Zeelan. So the only ones who are really going to have any combat actions are Miribaldo and the rider that is right next to him. So first, let's go ahead and let's roll that initiative. This is not looking good. Wow, he rolled well and still lost. So let's put that up here in the combat tracker. Okay, so Miribaldo is coming to this crossroads and he's going to have to make a sharp turn. And so what he's going to try to do is try to make this right sharp turn here. Instead of attacking, what he's going to try to do is use the pickup truck to ease this other guy here off of the road and maybe onto his butt. So he's going to try to turn this away and run into this vehicle here. And this guy is going to continue with his hammer, smash, smash. Now, there is no particular mechanic for this tactic that I'm about to do with Miribaldo. So it's time for the adjudicating homebrew rules. But first, Miribaldo is on the chopping block here. Smash, smash. Let's see if that actually landed. That would be a no. Remember, that guy needs a 19. He probably is not going to hit him at all. However, we're going to switch it up, and it's Miribaldo's turn. Now, here is what we're going to do with Miribaldo on this. Since he is using the pickup truck as a weapon per se, we're going to use his dexterity and maneuverability to see if he can hit this burner bike. That is going to be in place of the weapon class. So if we go over here to the physical attack table, we're going to be looking at the 11 column here. But instead of taking the rider's armor class, we're going to be taking the bike's armor class. And the bike doesn't have any armor class. And the lowest armor class that a bike can have, or any vehicle, is an 8. So we're going to take 11. We're going to compare it to 8. And it looks like Miribaldo is going to need a 9 in order to do this. First, let's see if he hits. And this time, he does not have the penalty because both hands are on the wheel. Well, see, didn't even happen. Didn't happen at all. So he swerved, and so did the biker. He did not take the bait. These two, again, They reloaded. So now we're going to go into the third round. Now we have a situation where Miribaldo is not going to attack this round, but what he does is going to still need to roll for initiative. But he's going to try to make a sharp turn here. So he's going to use his maneuverability, and we're going to use something special to do that. But of course, the guy who is next to him is still going to do the smashy, smashy, hammer, hammer. Zeelan is in the back, is going to be taking pot shots at the rear biker, as the rear biker is going to be doing the same. So let's go ahead and let's roll for that initiative. We have a 3 there. Life is not good. Oh boy. Okay, I can see what's happening here, and it just ain't looking good for our heroes. And what's sad is that they're winning with mediocre numbers. So our rider over here has had Miribaldo in his sights once again, and he is going to go ahead and do the hammer, hammer, smash, smashy on Miribaldo. And so we're going to see if he actually hits. Probably not. Yeah, remember, 19. Yeah, not going to hit. However, his friend in the back, he's going to be taking a pot shot at Zeelan here. So let's see what happens in the rear. Yep, that would be a no too. Wow, you were talking, just going back and forth. Kind of makes sense though, because we are on kind of a chase. You're going about 50 miles an hour trying to hit people in the truck, and you're trying to hit people who are moving as well. It's going to be a hard sell in trying to hit somebody, right? All right, so it's Zeelan's turn, and he's going to take his shot. Remember, he has a weapon class of 9 versus armor class of 9, and he needs a 9 in order to hit. So let's go ahead and see if he can hit. Gosh, just can't get over the hump today. And the last on the list is Miribaldo. Now, Miribaldo is not going to attack anybody. Miribaldo needs to make a dexterity check to make this turn. Listen, this is a sharp turn right here. He's going to try to make it over here. So he's putting all of his attention on making this turn. So how are we going to do that? Well, the best thing to do, since the vehicle doesn't have any maneuverability or anything like that, that comes in Gamma World 3rd edition. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make a dexterity check. He has to roll his dexterity or lower. I'm still going to keep it at that -1 to try to make this turn. So he actually needs to roll under a 10. Now listen, with how he's been rolling, it should be no problem with how they've been rolling on everything. So let's see what happens. I told you. So he makes this turn very well. Here we are, round number 4. And we got a very interesting situation here. On this one, we're only going to have one individual do something on this round because everyone else is not going to attack. Both the rear biker here, he has already fired, and so he has to reload. Zeelan has to reload. Miribaldo is turning. The only one that has to do something is this Iron Society rider. He has to make a roll to make this turn. This guy was all the way back here, so he saw it coming. He could make the turn wide. He was too close to Miribaldo. He's going to have to make the turn as well. That is going to be a little difficult. Now, what I've done with these two Iron Society members is use the stats from the Gamma World 3rd edition Cryptic Alliances listings. So I'm going to use their rank / hit dice of 7 to try to make this turn. And so he's going to need to roll a 7 or lower in order to make this turn. Now, again, with how I've been rolling, he's probably going to make it, but let's see. And the first time he rolls anything that's even near high, he misses it. And so what that means is that he is going to run into this wall. Now we have to make an adjudication. Since he runs into this stone wall here, we have to now make an adjudication. How much damage does the burner bike take? Well, let's go over here and look at the stats. This burner bike has a vehicle durability of 30, and he just ran into a stone wall. And so I am going to rule that this vehicle is going to take 3d6 points of damage. Yeah, that sounds about right. Pulling it off the top of the head. So let's see how much damage that the vehicle takes. 15 points of damage. So now we're going to have to go over to the vehicle damage table. Let me pull that up over here. Vehicle malfunctions. So anytime a vehicle takes 25% of its durability, it will have to roll on this vehicle malfunctions table. So we're going to have to roll 1d4 and see what happens specifically to this burner bike. In addition, we're going to have to see how much damage the guy riding on it took. So there's two things that we have to roll for. So let's first roll for what kind of damage happens to the vehicle. Looking like we got some power damage. So the vehicle's power system is damaged, causing all sensors to cut out, and the speed to be cut by 50%. If the vehicle is a bubble car, e-car, or flit car in any but hover mode, there's a 90% chance that it immediately crashes. However, in this situation, he just hit a stone wall, folks. He crashed. So that is why we are rolling for the damage for the individual who is in the vehicle, or on the vehicle in this case. And how you do that is you roll 1d6 per 30 miles an hour that the vehicle was going. Like I said, Miribaldo was putting the pedal to the metal, which is 50 miles an hour for that pickup truck. And so we're going to say I have to roll 2d6 for this slug that was on this bike. What happens? All right, he takes 6 points of damage. So I'm just going to right click there and take him down to 19. And that's it. This wall, which doesn't really look like a huge wall here. So he crashed and he broke just enough, but he still, kind of messed up his bike. And now this bike cannot catch up to Miribaldo and Zeelan, because the bike is kind of broke at this point since it's got that speed cut by 50%. Yeah, this bike is not going to keep up. So we can say that Iron Society Rider here is out of commission. They've only got one guy here. Miribaldo is going to try to keep it on the road as they go into round 5. Here we are with only 3 left in this battle. Miribaldo is probably not going to be in this battle because he's going to keep his attention focused on the road. So it's up to Zeelan to take care of this last rider. So since that is the case, what we're going to do is just roll for initiative for both Zeelan and the biker. So let's click on Z and see what he gets. Uh-oh. Looking like things might be turning around. We'll see. Zeelan gets a 6. The biker gets a 3. All right. So I'm going to take... I think I'm going to... Let me take off Miribaldo here since it's going to be these two. And first, we're going to go with Zeelan, who is targeting the biker in the back. A little bit of bow action. And let's see if he hits. Zeelan gets a hit. So now we're just going to double click on Z here, and we're going to go down to his bow, and we are going to roll for damage. 4 points. Nice job, Z. But not to worry, because Z, he's being targeted as well with a hand sling. Oh, swing and a hit right there. Swing and a hit. Z is going to take some damage. And let's see exactly how much that he takes. We're going down on the list here, and it looks like he's going to do 1d4. It won't take that much. Yeah, 1 point. 1 point. What's the big deal? Suck it up, Z. Suck it up. And now we go to round 6. Okay, so technically nothing really is going to happen in this round. Zeelan has to reload, the biker has to reload, and Miribaldo is putting the pedal to the metal. So as you can see here, if I pull back, they're going to make it to the edge of the map at the next round, which, as we said in the beginning, if they make it to the edge of the map, then they made it to the actual settlement, and there'll be reinforcements. And so this biker is going to turn around. So that actually concludes this combat chase scene kind of sort of thing that we had going on here in Gamma World 2nd Edition.
That didn't take long. What, we got five rounds? That was it? Took us this long? Can you imagine doing that with a whole group of people around the table? And combat is slow in tabletop RPGs. Trust me on this, especially if people are trying to figure out what they want to do, instead of trying to figure out what they want to do before the GM comes to them and asks them what they want to do, so things can go a little bit faster. But anyway, there it is, your example. Now, if you are interested in any of these Gamma World editions, I have links in the description below where you can go to DriveThruRPG, get yourself a copy. They are extremely affordable. I think some are $7.99, some are $9.99, something like that, $10, something like that. Go down in the description below, click it, and get your copy today. I'm gonna get out of here. It's the weekend. I got me a session tomorrow. Oh yeah, playing a little One Ring, y'all. What?
Hey, what?
So, until next week, next Tuesday, God willing, if you have a tabletop RPG session this weekend, happy gaming, y'all. And a brother is going to...
So exit, stage left.
Oh, peace and Hagrid.